Good morning. How's everyone doing? Good morning, Sammy. I'm glad you're doing well. I hope everyone is doing well. We're here. We've made it to Wednesday. Thank you, you all. A lot of you got your question before, and those of you, a couple of you are having problems. If you need anything, shoot me an email. I've answered back to a couple of you, so hope everything is going well. Today, we're going to talk about a war that lasted for about 27 years. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Josh. Hi, Piper. Conrad, James. Oh, poor James, you're tired. I'm so sorry you're tired, James. Um, anyways, today we're going to talk about the Peloponnesian War, and we are on page um, 399. And I wanted to ask you, of the Olympic teams that we had in class, what two city states do you think are rivals and are going to be fighting each other um, in the Peloponnesian War? Any guesses? Hi, Bradley. Oh, Bradley got it. Sparta versus Athens. Excellent. When we were reading about the city states and they talked about those vain Athenians, right? Athens tended to be a little arrogant, and other city states, especially Sparta, did not like that. Hi, Caroline, Piper, Ella. Um, yes, Athens and Sparta also, they were always concerned about attacks from Persia, which is really why they formed the Delian League. Hi, Gavin, Bridget, Conrad, Annabelle. Thank you all for joining. Um, so we're going to talk about many things about this war, but what do you think might have been some of the reasons that led Athens and Sparta to fight in a war? Hi, Devin. What do you think were some of the reasons? Well, anyone? What do you think might have been some of the reasons? Hi, Caleb. Yes, Bradley, they have slightly different political systems. That's right. Also, Athens was becoming very, very powerful. And remember, Greece is divided into city states. And Athens is becoming very, very powerful. Yes, Samantha, they did have different types of governments. They had different views on life, absolutely. They didn't agree. Good, Gavin. Power and prestige. Good job, Conrad. Um, Athens valued arts and books and learning. Sparta really admired strength and stability and military might. Sparta wants to be the most powerful. That's right, and so did Athens. And so these two were really what were really at each other. Yes, there was a lot of chaos. Um, Other city states did not like that Athens was becoming very powerful. Under Pericles, Athens grew from a city state to a huge naval empire. And Athenian settlers began to move into other city states, and they weren't liked by other city states. So Athens, remember we talked about this before. Yes, thank you, Conrad. They were a naval empire. We talked about this before that Athens used money from the Delian League to beautify their own city state. This was very um, revolutionary, right? Because it wasn't working out for them. And Athens using this money is like taking from a treasury for everyone and using it just personally for you. And Athens, yes, you're right, Bradley. Athens had great ships. They had a great naval empire, and so it was very, very important. But Sparta didn't want Athens to become powerful. They wanted to keep Athens kind of at bay, and especially after used this money. This money from the Delian League was used, what should have been used to benefit all the city states and to protect all the city states from Persia and other people that might that might want to come in and take over Greece or take over different city states. So Sparta actually created the Peloponnesian League that was later called the Delian League, and so did Athens. They did this together. And it was called this because many of the city states were located on the Peloponnesus, which is an isthmus. Does anybody remember what an isthmus is? Anybody remember? It's a strip of land that connects something to a greater strip of land, right? A narrow strip of land that connected it to Greece, and that was the Peloponnesus. So what happened during a war? Athens and fought Sparta, and their allies all fought. If I can get you to look in your books, please, on page 401, you see the map. By the way, there's the title of the map, Peloponnesian War, 431 to 404 BC. Anyone tell me what kind of map that is from the maps we studied? Good, Spencer. He says an isthmus is a narrow strip of land that usually connects to a larger strip of land. Excellent. All right. Can anybody tell me what kind of map that is on page 401? Sammy, good try. It's not a political. Bradley, good try. It's not a political. Conrad, thank you. It's a thematic map. And the theme is the Peloponnesian War, right? Good. Ryan? Okay. It could actually be a political map, but in this case, it was specifically set up with a theme. There you see Athens in the yellow, and you see Sparta in the red. And just in case, here you go. In case, but please always have your book. But there it is. And there is, let's see how we can do this better. Okay, there is Athens in the yellow. There's Sparta, their allies, in the red. So covering a lot of land. They fought for 27 years. That's a long time, to fight that war. So they both had advantages and disadvantages going into the war. Sparta had the better land military force. Remember, this is who they were. They were disciplined soldiers, disciplined military people. And well, I'm glad everyone's liking the video. Thank you. And so Sparta had the better military force. What was Athens' strength? What was their advantage in the war? What was their advantage in the war? What was the advantage of Athens? We talked about it a little while ago. Okay, good. Yeah, the advantage of Athens was their naval power. So they had a tremendous naval power, and so they could attack the city-states by sea. Now, they couldn't attack Sparta directly by sea because it was within land, right? It had land around it, but it could attack their allies, and it could create a lot of problems for Sparta. So the strategies of the war, the strategies for Sparta were they wanted to cut off the food supply by destroying Athens' crops. It's a lot of destruction, right? And they're getting to their main food supply. So it's a pretty good tactic. Thank you, Devin. Yes, their naval power. Um, and so Athens' strategy was to avoid battles on lands and to use their great naval strength to attack Sparta's allies. Also, Pericles, remember the great leader that we keep coming back to? Pericles, um, Pericles wanted to allow Sparta to destroy their crops. He said, "That's fine. You go ahead and destroy this. I'm going to take all my people and I'm going to put them in Athens." Well, that was not a great idea, right? Because there was overcrowding, there were too many people. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about what that caused. But first, let's talk about um, what might happen. What might happen? Well, you could call this really a civil war because it's all within Greece. And so it lasted, like we said, 27 years, an incredibly long time. Um, and and the Athens and allies fought their Spartas, and ultimately Sparta won, right? And I want you to look, please, on page 400. Look on page 400, where it says primary source, Pericles' funeral oration. And also, I want to remind you all to please have your books with you. Okay, please have your book with you when you come online with me. All right. I'm not sure who Loaf is or who Tostitos is. I'm not sure who those is. I know Inky Boy is Taryn. But Loaf, no, Bradley says he is not Loaf. All right. Okay. So, anyways, look on page 400 and it talks about Pericles' funeral oration. An oration is like a speech, like something Pericles said. And Pericles was known not only um, for his ability to lead people and to strategize and to protect and to bring education and art and culture to his city state, but also they say he had a lot of charisma. Does anyone know what charisma is? What is charisma? Anyone, let me know what charisma is. Does anybody know? And maybe you could think of someone. Sammy says courage. Um, um, Maybe a little bit, not exactly, but good answer, Sammy. Piper says charm. Yes, absolutely. It's kind of a charm. Loaf, please identify yourself, says it's the ability to persuade people. And so let's see, who else? Okay, Devin also says courage. Silver Ninja. Um, let's see, a divinely conferred power or talent. It definitely is a talent. And Pericles had it. It's a talent to persuade people, to get people to follow you, to get people to maybe follow your beliefs, to get them, talk them into doing things. Okay, I'm seeing that Loaf is Bradley. All right. Inspiring people. That's right, Sammy. Good. And so this is a great talent. And Pericles had it. And this is why he was able to rise to power and keep his power over Athens for so long. On page 400, it says Pericles' funeral oration. Um, it says background. Pericles spoke to honor Athenians killed in action during the first years of the Peloponnesian War, which began in 431 BC. Part of his speech paid tribute to democracy in Athens. And this is what he says. Is it true that we are called a democracy? For the administration is in the hands of many and not of the few. But while the law secures equal justice to all, alike in their private disputes, the claim of excellence is also recognized. And when a citizen is in any way distinguished, he is preferred to the public service, not as a matter of privilege, but as a matter of merit. Neither is poverty a bar, but a man may benefit his country, whatever be the insignificance of his condition. And so, how does Pericles define democracy? This is important. He says administration is in the hands of the many and not the few. And that is actually the basis for a democracy. So, is a tyranny a democracy? No. Is an oligarchy a democracy? No, because it's only very few people. And a monarchy is not a democracy either. A tyranny, definitely not, right? So, what does Pericles say is important about a citizen? Bradley, yeah, tyranny could be thought of as kind of communism. Absolutely, you're absolutely right, because it's just pretty much like a dictatorship. Um, and so, also, Pericles says that being excellent and distinguished merits the reward of public service, whether a person is poor or not. So, in a society, in these city states that really favored the rich, Pericles is sending a big message. He's saying it doesn't matter if you're poor. What matters is who you are, how you present yourself, and what you do, what you do. And so this is this is what Pericles said to his people, and to honor the people that had died fighting in the Peloponnesian Wars. And so we know the strategies. Let's review a little bit. Sparta has great military strength. Athens has great naval power. Um, Sparta wanted to go in, their strategy, they wanted to destroy all of the crops around Athens so that they could not get a food supply. Athens wanted to strike all of Sparta's allies by sea. And so this is really, really important. Um, those of you on the live chat, I need you, some of you are not paying attention and you're talking to each other, and that's not the time for this. So I would appreciate it if those of you that are doing that would tune in. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hello, Elle. How are you? I'm glad everybody is joining, and Katie. Okay, so I need you all to concentrate. A couple of you are going astray there. All right, so remember that map on page 401 and the causes of the Peloponnesian War. Let's see, right here, I have my notes. So tonight, you are going to read pages 398 to 401. Again, all of this is on GradeLink. You're going to read about the Peloponnesian War only to page 401 up to strategies of war. And then tomorrow you will have a written assignment on something else that we are going to read. And so any questions? Any questions on the Peloponnesian War? Any questions on strategies? Any questions on advantages and disadvantages of Athens and Greece? Athens and Sparta. All right. What might happen? What might happen to a country, city states, countries that are at war for 27 years? What might happen? Sammy, it wasn't only Sparta and Athens. It was Sparta and Athens, and remember we looked at the map. So Sparta had a lot of allies. Athens had a lot of allies. These allies were other city states, actually. So that was a great question. Um, do we need strategies for war? Absolutely. War, absolutely, Devin. War is based on strategies. Always, always. Before, for example, um, you could have strategies on the ground that were very effective, such as building a wall around your city state. But today we have airplanes. So that would pretty much, that strategy would really be kind of worthless. Um, and so, good question, though. Good question. Of course, yes, Ryan, your property would get destroyed. You would destroy the economy as well. Now, it takes money to fight. Usually soldiers are paid, you have weapons. And so, yeah, it takes a lot of money. You're destroying business places, you're disrupting the lives of everybody in the country where the war is actively taking place. So, yes, property is being damaged. All of these things are happening. Um, and so it was very destructive. And then after this, right, they're going to go and rebuild, just like Pericles rebuilt and beautified Athens after the Persian Wars. So very, very destructive. In the United States, we've been lucky. The only war on our land so far has been the Civil War, and that was very destructive. And you could consider this a civil war because it happened between city states in Greece. All right. If there are no other questions, we can sign off for today. I will give you time during the rest of the period to review what we talked about and to do your reading. And then, like I said, tomorrow we'll have a written assignment. And again, all assignments are on GradeLink. They are also on a Google Docs that was sent to your parents. And all the instructions are there. Instructions for me remain the same. Okay? All right, guys, have a great rest of the day and hope you are finding wonderful things to do while you're all at home. And I send hugs to everybody. Miss and love you guys. All right. See you tomorrow. Bye. You're welcome. You have a great day too. All right. Bye bye.